All right, we start tonight. An Orange County Superior Court judge has set a trial date for a lawsuit challenging Anaheim's at-large voting system.
The suit claims that electing city council members at large instead of from within distinct districts violates the California Voting Rights Act. And Dave Nazar joins us with the very latest details. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Greg and Ann. The case Moreno versus City of Anaheim will go to trial in March of 2014. The American Civil Liberties Union lawsuit filed on behalf of Latino activists argues that Anaheim's at-large council elections disenfranchise voters. In this case, the Latino voters who comprise more than half of the city's residents. The ACLU contends Anaheim city leaders are violating the California Voting Rights Act. At issue whether Anaheim should be an at-large voting city or a district-based voting city. The city council put together a citizens advisory committee to recommend changes to the electoral system. After several months, the committee decided to put district-based voting to a citywide election. The council majority rejected that recommendation and instead approved residency-based districts. That basically means council candidates would be required to live in certain areas of the city, but still be elected at large. Chris Murray is part of the Anaheim council majority in favor of that proposal.
We have truly taken decisive action to implement residency-based districts today, and we have approved, the city council has approved 2 ballot measures that will go to the voters on the primary ballot of next year that will allow the voters to decide on the size of council, to increase the size of the council, as well as to ratify residency-based districts.
And if by some chance the voters in this city do approve that, how might a trial in 2014 affect your plan?
In essence, what we are doing is implementing a brand new election system.
That's false, says ACLU attorney Bartis Vakili, who's part of the lawsuit against Anaheim. Vakili says the city is really trying to preserve its antiquated system.
The city council will still be elected at large. In fact, the situation will be worse because in the previous system, in order for the Latino candidate of choice to be elected, they'd have to come in the top 2. Now in a residency system, you have to come in first place in your residency ward in an at-large election that's citywide.
Vakili says this case finally going to trial is critical for the Anaheim community.
This case is about the community not having a voice in their local government, not having a voice in how their city is run. And while the case was delayed, they didn't have a voice in court either. And now they're finally going to have their day in court where they can come forward and say, this is what we have to prove to you that this system is unlawful, that our vote has been diluted, that we have no voice.
Over the years, other California cities have faced similar lawsuits from the ACLU. Vakili says those cities settled out of court by switching over to a district-based voting system. In most all of these cases, it costs the cities millions of dollars in legal fees. Not just their own city costs, but also responsibility for the ACLU court costs. Anaheim is now in that same boat. The city has already shelled out hundreds of thousands of dollars to fight this and could ultimately lose a few million. Costs aside, Councilwoman Murray believes she and her council majority are making the best decision for the welfare of their residents.
Our obligation is to make sure that we're governing in the best interest of all communities, all residents in Anaheim. Cities are sued, municipalities are sued. We have an obligation to represent the city and to present our best case and to govern on behalf of all residents, and that's what we're doing.
And Murray also says Anaheim does have a tremendous history of working with all of its communities and of electing Latino and other minorities, for that fact, to the council. And by the way, Greg and Ann, if the court rules in favor of district-based elections, we could see changes on Anaheim's ballot, well, as soon as June of 2014.
Very good. All right. Thank you very much, David.